If you want to scale your creative agency, at some point, you're going to need to hire people. But if you hire the wrong people at the wrong time, it can kill your business. And before you start thinking, I just need to clone myself, or nobody can do it like me, or my agency is different, just trust me for a moment. I've worked with hundreds of agencies over the past decade, and I've seen the same challenges across nearly all of them. So let's take a look at the 3 different people that you need to hire at 3 different stages of creative agency growth. These are general rules, but I want you to make sure that you're speaking with an advisor before actually making this next hire, especially at the lower ends of revenue thresholds. There are financial considerations, service considerations, and where you ultimately are looking to go that need to be considered when applying this. So let's talk about the first hire. This is the stage where you are ultimately between $50,000 a year in revenue to $150,000 a year. In this stage of growth for an agency, you're incredibly busy. You've brought on more clients that you can manage yourself. You need to be able to get some work off of your plate to be able to continue to grow. You really, at this moment, feel like you're the glass ceiling and you're overwhelmed. And here's what you need to be considering. You need to be hiring contractors to start to do the junior level work that your creative agency offers, allowing for you to be able to buy a component of yourself back. You need to be thinking about pieces of yourself rather than the whole self. Where a lot of people end up getting stuck here is they believe that you need to hire another person to do exactly the same things that you do, but it's not going to work. You have loads of experience. You're incredibly expensive. To find that unicorn is going to be incredibly challenging and more money than you can afford right now. So let's compare it to a fashion designer. You've got the primary label designer that is the final say on the design direction. They've established the look and feel of where they want that particular line to go. And you have loads, maybe even hundreds of designers that are working on ideas constantly, drawing light sketches that then the primary designer is reviewing and continuing to refine, add, give feedback that allows for that junior level designer to continue working on that direction. So you're wanting someone to be able to do the manual labor, if you will, of the design process. So if you're a design agency, it may be the first concept, it may be the first draft, low fidelity design. If you're a video agency, it could be the first cut. If you're a social media agency, it could be the initial concepts of here's the direction that we're going to do for the posts every single day for this week. Think about it more as something that needs direction and needs feedback versus the actual output to the client. So the next stage is where you're between $200,000 and $500,000. Where a lot of agencies and a lot of agency owners find themselves is that you have the help that you need to execute on the work. But now where you are is that you are the primary contact with the client. There's a lot of administrative components to the business, and there's 2 primary pieces that are the big block for you: email management, calendar management, administrative management, and client management. You want to make sure that the relationships with the clients are being managed really well, that you're getting back to your clients in an appropriate timeline, and that you're providing them with an excellent service. But this is difficult to do as just you, unless you want to sacrifice your entire life, which I hope you don't. So the next hire that you need to be considering is a project manager and an executive assistant. I'd be looking at, and the distinction between which one happens before the other is looking at where your time is currently being sucked up the most. Is it more in client management, or is it more in email management, your calendar management? The next stage of growth is $750,000 to $2 million. You, as the agency owner, are still managing the direction of every single department. You are implementing new initiatives, you're setting up new processes, you're helping solve problems. You are the whack-a-mole of the agency. And the piece that you need to be really focused on is, how do you actually build the basic infrastructure of your business? You're going to start to build a leadership team. You're going to be putting in place your department heads that allow for them to be the person. You provide the direction, where you're now elevating yourself from being the technician, the person that's working on the business every single day, to being the visionary, to being the true CEO, where you're heading and giving them direction. You're assigning an outcome to your team rather than assigning a process or a thing to do. And once you're able to now move from department to department and put a really meaningful leadership team in place, is where you can really start to scale. So in this video, we talk a lot about the team that you need to build around you. But in order to scale your agency effectively and efficiently, you're going to need the right tools. So check out this video here, where we do a deep dive to the tools that every creative agency needs in order to scale profitably.